I hope you guys are comfortable because oh boy do I have an exciting battle for you today. We are at the custom map of Naggarond, the Dark Elf capital, and my god is it a spectacle to behold. The city is huge and we are ready to pack this city to the brim with soldiers. We have close to 10,000 units in this engagement ready to fight and die for your excitement. A last alliance of dwarfs, men and lizard men have come together against an army of dark elves and chaos, so it should be really exciting. As I said, this is a 4v4 battle, so do expect some lag. We have a lot of units, a huge city. I mean, just look at it, and this is really, you know, this is what a dark elf capital should be like, you know. Instead of just kind of like a small square rectangular siege battle, it should be this size, you know. The dark elves aren't going to be sitting in some dingy fortress. This is something to behold, and it's going to be extremely hard, I imagine, for the attackers to claim the walls. But I do obviously get a bit of an advantage, some more money, and as I said, we are using a whole ton of mods, which will all be in a collection in a link in the description down below. So if you like anything that we used in this battle, then you can go ahead and pick that up. Also, look at these Black Ark fleet masters who have just vanguard deployed behind the Lizardmen army. That's going to be interesting to see. So we'll quickly take a look at the fortress itself. We'll quickly just run forward. You can really look at the map, and if we can press this, I guess that would be helpful as well. Yeah, this is actually a perfect way to look at the fortress. It's actually really useful. I should use this more often. But as you can see, we have an outer wall just going around the fortress itself. Then we have 1, 2, 3 capture points, one on the bottom layer, one in kind of like the second layer of walls, which we can see right round here, and then the final one over here, which is kind of like a path all the way up. So it's going to be interesting to see how the attackers manage to deal with this, if there's going to be a lot of street fighting, or if the defenders are simply just going to kind of fall back and defend these 2 choke points right here, as they have a great amount of defense. As well as that, we kind of have like an outer dock area right here, which again looks really cool. I like this a lot, that we have kind of like an outer wall guarding this as well. And obviously we have soldiers on the wall ready to defend it, as we can see right here as we zoom all the way in. I actually really love this tool. I should 100% use it more. Then for the attackers, we can obviously see the way they are set up. If we go into the normal map mode, we have the lizardmen over here on this far side, kind of all alone. Everyone else has come together, whereas the lizardmen have to fight their way through the enemy ranks by themselves. So we have a load of lizardmen here, and I believe we're using custom mods which add in units for every single faction, which I won't go through, as we'll see them in the battle, and I don't want to spend ages just running through the unit rosters. So yeah, we have the Brettonians here along the left flank of this kind of assault from the men. Then we have Middelheim in the center. These guys are going to be having plenty of the knightly orders. We're definitely using the knightly order mod, which adds in all these epic looking heavy infantry. I mean, just look at these brothers of the axes. Woo, baby, them axes look insane. Then we have just like more really cool looking units, which will be hopefully make for an exciting battle. And then finally we have the dwarfs over on this right flank, ready to push forward. And look at this unit as well. The rune golems look so cool. I'm not sure, I doubt this is lore friendly, but I mean, that just looks amazing. I love some of these mods which just create fun and exciting units, because these rune golems, I imagine, are going to be so tanky in this battle. So I guess without further ado, let's just go ahead and get this battle started, jump into it. I'm excited for some action. I'm going to try my best to go around the battlefield as much as possible, as we do have these skinks getting hit by the shipmasters right here, and the towers as well. That's going to be brutal for the attackers, getting towards the walls and taking over the towers. Because if the towers can constantly keep shooting, then that's going to be so useful for them. As we do have Crockguard coming in, and I imagine with the support of Crockguard, they should easily be able to take out these shipmasters from the Black Arks, that's for sure. The rest of the walls are going to be raring to go. We've got plenty of infantry, loads of interesting units, and as well as that, we also have plenty of infantry holding the line with their shields up. And I guess one of the nice things about this map having such a short deployment zone, meaning that the ladders and the towers get to the walls really quickly, meaning that we get more fighting actually on the walls themselves, which is always better. You know, having a little kind of longer, you know, movement phase is never too fun, as these temple guards actually get hit immediately from the Black Ark Corsairs with their crossbows, and they're going to be retreating back. Hopefully we'll be getting these men off the siege towers right now, and that's exactly what we have. How are the other sides faring? So we have the siege towers over on this side, all hitting the wall. Then along all the other sides, again, they are all making their way there. Also, just look how cool the tower is as well. Really nice work there on the modding person who made this. So Brettonia have now got their way up here. It does look like that they have their whole group of Royal Hippogriff Knights going after these Blackout Corsairs here. Any of the siege towers made their way. I mean, the nice thing about Brettonia is that they have trebuchets, so they can maybe try and smash down some of the walls. I'm not sure if they're waiting to maybe save some of this, or they're focusing down towers. It looks like they're focusing down some towers, which is a pretty smart idea. And they've also got a battering ram up here, along with all their peasant archers as well, which are going to be hitting that dragon back there. You know, taking out the aerial superiority of Malakith, getting him low early is always a great idea. We're also going to have some of the squires with halberds putting up ladders on the wall, because it doesn't look like there's too much of a defense along this part of the wall, the Brettonian wall that they're currently pushing. They also have a few siege towers up here as well. And it seems like they're taking this wall fairly easily with the support of Middelheim, the Tukagengard, I don't know how to pronounce that. They've made their way up on this wall, and I love this part of the wall with kind of like a secondary wall here. I think it'd be amazing if this wall was also like something you could climb up, and you would actually have to put ladders up here from the first wall. I think that'd be a really interesting idea for a map. So we have the Chaos Forces over here, the Aspiring Champions taking on the Warriors right here. The Elite Knightly Order are going to be smashing these guys with their huge Warhammers, and obviously the Elite Forces of the Chaos are going to be holding that line pretty nicely on top of that. The camera is a little bit dodgy here, so I can't really, you know, kind of debug into these unit models as there are collision here. However, we can see from a distance what people are doing as more and more of the siege towers are hitting the wall. How are the forces of the dwarfs doing? I imagine they're going to be having a decent job of kind of breaking these defenders. We do have a lot of elite units here. There's loads of chosen scattering the walls. And it's going to be up to the Iron Breakers to try and break them. However, I trust the Iron Breakers to do so. I mean, the towers, though, just seem like they're doing so much damage. We do have some organ guns here. I wonder if the organ guns are just saving all their ammunition to make their way into the city. I believe as well as that, the gate has actually gone down as well. Now, the organ guns are shooting. I'm not sure what they're hitting, though. Maybe the towers. Are we going to have some dwarfs making their own? Yeah, we're going to have these ancient golems. Or what? Ancient golems? Yeah, rune golems, sorry. Pushing forward. They actually take a lot of damage as these chosen the halberds to push them back. Also, they have some chariots here as well. And it's going to be a hard task here for the rest of the dwarfs to make their way in. Oh, look at that. There's also a bit of bugging right here. The wall isn't completely kind of sound, but it's to be expected, you know. With a map this size, there's going to be problems like that scattered around. So we do actually have a hell cannon back here, trained in on the position. Actually, two hell cannons right here, trained in on the dwarven position. That's going to be pretty brutal. They can continue to unload their shots and do lots of damage to the dwarfs. I'm going to think it's going to be kind of hard to for them to actually really kind of push through this area, as there is an entire Chaos army here. So it's going to be hard for both sides. How are the Lizardmen faring? We haven't seen them in a little while. The Lizardmen are actually pretty much overwhelmed the walls here. And I guess that's to be expected, because I can't imagine that the Dark Elves have a lot of elite infantry to really deal with these guys, because they're having to defend such a huge part of the city, you know. They're defending 4 different walls to try and push back all these enemies. So it's to be expected that the Dark Elves are going to have to spread their forces extremely thin, and the more elite, concise pushes of the attackers are going to really shine through. Then we also have them positions, you know, with all these crossbows and artillery pieces. They're going to be great. You know, Murderous Prowess has also just popped. It's popped really early. But this is going to be a great opportunity to really start putting the hurt on the attackers. And I think this is the best time for it to actually pop, if I'm honest, even though it does kind of feel a bit early. Because it's popping now when all the attackers are at the wall pushing. And pretty much all the defenders are engaged along this wall as well. Which is meaning that they're just attacking so many of the enemies. Oh my god, and these poor damsels of the Grail are getting absolutely smashed by these crossbows as well. We can see them right here. There's also an artillery piece here as well. A repeater crossbow. I'm not sure if I can find too many of its shots, but the attackers are coming in with full force, and it looks like they have managed to claim this wall. And this is really good for Brettonia, because it means they can get their cavalry in, they can get their Green Knights, their Grail Knights, their everything they have in this fortress and really start to use that to their advantage. Yeah, you can see all of these Grail Knights starting to pour in and do plenty of damage. We do have a zombie dragon though going overhead. I wonder what it's going to get up to. We also have the artillery from a Brettonian trebuchets as well also come in. That looks really cool. I love these battles where we do have, you know, even once the battle does truly kick off and we've got soldiers inside the wall, I love still seeing artillery fling over the first wall and go into like the second wall and the defenders back then. I think it just looks really, really cool. You know, definitely something more fantasy. You know, when you see Minas Tirith, once they start fighting for the first wall, obviously the artillery doesn't stop. We're going to get some more explosions down on the Brettonian forces, which are looking like they are making some headway. But it doesn't seem like there's too much here to stop them. We also have a couple units still left on the walls who actually managed to win this. They are getting smashed by artillery. And yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that the executioners managed to clean off the Brettonian infantry. I can't imagine that the Brettonian infantry stands whatsoever close to the elite infantry of the Dark Elves. And in the form of them executioners. We're going to be getting some fire arrows coming forward, and they're going to be doing a good job at cleaning off these shades of great swords, as well as these executioners as well. Obviously, the executioners don't have an extra shield or anything to protect them from missile fire. So they should be going down kind of nicely to all these archers, and the archers do seem like they have a lot of ammunition left. Well, there's actually a knightly order, so I thought there's some Brettonian peasant archers. But these are the Knight Ravens dismounted, and they have crossbows. Again, looking really, really cool. I love the armor work. Looks awesome. Really does. And it's like the thing is, which is so amazing about these modders when they create these custom units, is they can only use the tools which are in the game already. They can't import anything. So everything you see in these modded battles are something that they've kind of, you know, like almost kind of like sewn together 2 things or 3 things of random different units and brought together to make it look like something. I think that's really impressive. We can see the Brettonian forces in the background pushing on hard underneath the tower. I wonder if Malakith is up there watching the battle like a Sauron or a Saruman. I mean, I think actually Malakith is actually engaged in the battle on his dragon right here against the Royal Hippogriffs and also the other units. I mean, the real good thing here is all these Grail Knights are anti-large. Yeah, they're anti-large, so they should be doing great against the forces of the Zombie Dragon and obviously Malakith as well. Malakith's actually having to be forced back. And it does, if we zoom out of the battlefield to really get a good look of it, we can honestly see that the first wall is kind of close to going down. But it does also look like there's going to be no last stand. There's going to be no fallback position. The forces of the Dark Elves are holding the wall with everything they've got. Maybe they're going to bring back some units if it looks like they're getting overwhelmed. And I think this back entrance is going to be beaten back straight away. If we actually zoom in here, we can really see the Lizardmen pushing on. They have a lot of Temple Guards still left remaining. You can see them marching through the streets themselves. So I think we're going to have to see some of these defenders at least fall back or send some support. I mean, the nice thing is over here as well is there's only a couple entrances. There's what, 1 entrance here. I guess there's 2 entrances, which I guess I can come up behind them, and also these street views. So I guess the defenders need to be pretty careful if they want to try and hold this up. And I mean, even the Brettonian armies are breaking through here. Granted, a lot of their peasantry and infantry have died, but they still have these really elite foot squires and Grail Knights pushing forward, and they're going to be hitting into this second gate very soon. And again, if they can silence like the hell cannons, that would be amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see the hippogriffs and stuff do that. They obviously still have these Blackguard of Naggarond still here, and also a lot of the crossbows as well, which are proving their worth. But they're also getting shot. The Brettonians have done a great move here by putting their archers on the walls, giving them that extra bit of range. And these Brettonian archers can now start hammering the walls themselves. That is great. That just looks amazing, right? The city itself is a masterpiece, really is. And I feel like it's not as big. Like, I felt like a lot of the issues in Warhammer 1 was that these custom maps were just way too big, even for a 4v4. Whereas this map feels pretty nice with a 4v4. I feel like it's done pretty good. And obviously playing with these modded units as well are pretty good. These Ironbreakers have had a hard time of it. They still haven't broken through these Chosen yet. It's just like a real big stalemate by the looks of it, and more infantry probably needs to be deployed. We see all the rune golems going down. Yeah, this seems like the dwarfs have had one hell of a fight on these walls. one real big fight. I mean, even over here, they're still struggling. The Iron Breakers just not being able to have enough attacking power just to kill these guys. We don't see the Hammerers being brought out by the Dwarfs. We do have some Slayers over here. We do have, what, these Torpedo Slayers? Yeah, the Slayers, Riveters, with their Torpedo Cannons. But, again, it doesn't look like the Dwarfs have kind of been silenced on this flank. Oh, we do see one of the Generals going down. I wonder if that's Malakith or just one other Lord. But it looks like it is just a Chaos Lord. Yeah, that is just a Chaos Lord who has been slain, so nothing too crazy. Are more units being deployed over to the Lizardmen? I'd be really interested to find out if that is the case. I think we're getting cavalry. Yeah, we're getting more cavalry. The reserve lancers being pushed over. And they're going to be doing great. I mean, Kroq-Gar has to be careful here. Granted, he is extremely tanky and he has a lot of ability just to regain all his HP. But he has to be extremely careful. But as long as Kroq-Gar can stay alive here, I think the Lizardmen will be the MVPs of this battle for the attackers and give them this hope. The Kroq-Gar seem to just be doing great against these Black Ark Corsairs, who don't really have the anti-large capability. It doesn't seem like there's too many men here ready to stop them. And obviously we actually do have a Hydra going up against Kroq-Gar himself, or maybe just a Scarred Veteran. I don't know what one is Kroq-Gar and what one is the Scarred Veteran. I guess we'll have a look. So that's the Scarred Veteran, that's Kroq-Gar. And we also actually have some support here as well. Is this Albric? No, it's just a Royal Hippogriffs. The Royal Hippogriffs are coming over here as well. And I think this is a really, really smart move. You know, really try and push your advantage for the Lizardmen, because they're the ones really winning you the battle. And you just have to hope the Dwarfs can hold off for as long as possible, because the Dwarfs aren't making headway whatsoever. And I think because of them, Hell Cannons really did a number on them at the gate. It's going to be really up to the Dwarfs just to keep these guys at bay whilst everyone else does the work. Because if this army can kind of dispatch from the dock area and come back to the main engagement, which seems to be going really, really well, then I think they're going to be struggling. The Lizardmen have actually taken their capture point. At the moment, they're the only ones to secure their capture point. So I think we will see them come in now. Oh, it's going to be a pretty bad chill wind right there, doing some good damage. And there are still some peasantry still left remaining, some foot squires, as well as some squires with shield and sword. Oh, the Hell Cannon Blast is going right forward. Where's all the cavalry for Brettonia? Are they going to help out the Empire? We haven't really seen too much from the Empire. I'm not sure if it's just me not really watching it too much. I guess that is the case. Yeah, I haven't really been here watching the Empire. I've been mainly focused on the Lizardmen and Brettonia, if I'm honest, because they're the ones making the biggest pushes. And it does look like that. I think the forces at the dockyard have to start retreating now, because if they don't, the capture points are really going to start to fall. And I'm curious to find out, if they take 3 capture points, does that mean that they'll start to win and tick down that timer? I'm pretty curious. We also kind of see the lag has definitely subsided a lot more. Now that a lot more units are starting to die, it's only really the map itself which has a lot of models and stuff, which are kind of taxing a little bit on the game engine. That looks pretty insane like that. Oh, baby, that looks awesome. I mean, I just love the entire look of the fortress. It really does look like something out of a fantasy game. I mean, just taking a look at that. You got Brettonian walls, the soldiers ready to push forward. Really, really nice work there by the modder. So again, going back to the battle itself, the Empire are going to start funneling their units off. And I wonder if we're going to see the Empire moving down here to secure this dockyard and help the Dwarfs out. Because the Dwarfs still have a fair amount of missiles left. As we do have some of the Knights of the Inner Circle pushing up, with also some Knights Panther as well. They're going to be chasing down these Chaos Knight Lancers, who are retreating back into the inner city, which is a smart move, I think. I think if I was the Chaos and the Dark Elves, I'd be pulling everything back from the outer walls. The walls have been lost. Besides the dock area, the walls have been lost. And if you're not careful, if you don't kind of surround... oh, God. If you don't go ahead and fall back to the inner wall, you're going to get a Lizardmen army coming into your backs very, very quickly, as they are just finishing off the last couple units. Also, these regeneration crystals are great at keeping the units alive for the Lizardmen, which I think is a must-have in a siege battle where you are taking a lot of missile fire and you're losing a lot of HP, but not necessarily numbers. I think taking a regeneration crystal is just such a must, because you can really boost back up that HP and keep your units strong. So where are the Lizardmen going to go? They're pushing down here, chasing after one of the Dark Elf generals. I think these Croxicles, I mean, these Croxicles are rampaging after him, and they're going to catch him here. So it's going to be another general slain for the Dark Elves. Not the greatest. I mean, he's getting out of there, but surely he's only going to take him a few more hits. Oh, as well as that, yeah, we're going to have the tower being taken. Why is it being taken back now? It's currently being controlled by the Dark Elves. I'm curious why that is a thing. Brettonia are still taking it. Yeah, I mean, it says Brettonia is taking it, so maybe it will change. I mean, we know, yeah, there we go. So they've taken their victory plaza back, which is great. And here we go. Look how many lizard men are pushing forward here. And they're about to come right into the back of the defenders here. And honestly, you know, for a second, I felt like the balance of power bar really shifted away from the attackers into the defending side. But now that the lizard men have come forward and they're using that regeneration crystal, it's going to be a hard job for the Chaos and the Dark Elves to win this, I think. Because honestly, all they really have left is this. They do have a lot left, but it's all the way over here. And the dwarfs have done a great job at just keeping these guys busy. You know, their job was to never win this engagement. Their job was to simply delay this army from supporting the rest of the walls. Which I think if this army could have maybe drawn some units off earlier, would have been great. I mean, even now, they are still holding off, you know, an entire unit of chosen halberds, which could be so vital in this battle with just some of their gunners or quarrelers. You know, these guys could be so vital elsewhere in the battle, and yet they are still holding up such a huge portion of this Chaos army. So a super nice delay tactic. As we zoom out as well, we can see the entire forces for the lizardmen making their way around, coming through all of these gates and just surrounding the forces here. And I think that these armies are going to be able to beat back these units really nicely, and then they can just kind of almost surround the dockyard, and this will be the last stand right here, as there are, you know, several gates in. I think we're actually seeing some of the brothers of the Axes, as well as the other Empire Knightly Orders, pushing in to just go and support their Dwarven brothers. An alliance once stood between men and dwarfs. They have come to honour this once more. As we do have a broken down siege tank right here. You can see that was clobbered to death by the Dark Elves and the Chaos.
God help us!
God help us indeed. Sigma, help us. Sigma, give me strength. We do have a Black Guard of Naggarond moving around the battlefield. We also have Malakith, who is so goddamn low. He's also taking fire. I'm not sure what's hitting him, but one more archer volley and Malakith is probably slain. And that's the last general, I think, besides the one at the dockyard. Luckily, I don't think there's any missiles left, but I mean, these Dark Elves are about to be in a world of hurt. As the lizardmen are starting to push their way forward and join the rest of this engagement. Yeah, if I was playing as these Chaos, I would give the order, fall back to the dockyard. That is our last bastion of defense. As the rest of these guys are pushing up. Yeah, the lizardmen are coming over. And I mean, there are still a lot of like Chaos Knights here. You know, 2 full units of Chaos Knights can definitely do some damage, as Brettonia seem to have run their last. I mean, they have deployed a lot of their units over here with the Empire. I mean, the rest of the cavalry and stuff are all pushing over here. But here we have it, kind of a retreat back there. The Hell Cannons being pushed up. I love the custom artwork on these Hell Cannons as well. They look really, really cool. And the rest of the halberds as well, pushing in. What are they going to be facing straight off the bat? I want to see what the Empire have brought to this battle. Oh god, actually there's some Dowie here as well. The Ironbreakers, who I guess managed to come around this way and avenge their kin. That's what they're charging, and I love how the Dowie are leading this charge. More artillery overhead, and they're going to be supported by the Brotherhood of Axes. Getting stuck in here. They're basically like a huge halberd they've got at their disposal. Also to note that the forces of the Dark Elves actually reclaimed their capture point back here with just this rogue unit of Black Ark, not Black Ark Corsairs, Shades with great swords, and a unit of Dread Spears as well. So reclaiming that's actually pretty important, because it means that the forces of good have to clean out the forces of evil instead of just overwhelming these capture points, you know, taking this one and the one up here. I'm a little bit sad that there was no last stand, but I'm also kind of not sad at all, because it does definitely make sense why there's not going to be a last stand there. Obviously, you want to try and hold the walls of everything you've got. And I guess this is more of our last stand right here. The forces of Chaos at the dockyard seem to do a really good job at killing the dwarfs. And this is more of the last stand. So just imagine this, but on top of that huge tower right up there. The Chaos Chosen are definitely not going to go down without a fight, that is for sure. And I feel like having all these archways without gates definitely makes the battle a lot more user-friendly. Because if every one of these archways, if every one of these every one of these gates was actually a gate, it would look amazing. But I think, honestly, it would just go ahead and really kind of kill the excitement. Something I would love to see, something that would be amazing, and if anyone from my Discord is watching this, is I would love a two-part battle. I think that would be so amazing on a map like this, where we have like the initial fight, and it could just be 15-20 minutes battle, but it's like both the armies going at it, like 4 versus 4, like we just saw here. And everything is committed at taking on the gates and the walls. And once the walls are taken, that's when the battle is over. There's no like retreat back to the inner wall, and then we have another battle, almost like a day 2, where all the armies are like refreshed and stuff. Maybe, obviously there's some sort of negative modifier for the defenders or something, and then we have kind of like a inner wall defense, and that's like a new battle. They play the game so that the defenders can move up their siege towers and stuff, and then they fight a battle for this like inner wall area right here. And then maybe they have an extra battle after this way has been done. So we have like a 3-way battle. The first battle's for the walls, then they have a second one, and each time they're resetting, getting more units, replenishing and stuff like that. I think something like that could be a really interesting battle series. And if anyone's watching from my Discord, maybe think about doing that if you guys think it'll be fun. Because I think it'd be really exciting to see like a 3-part battle series on a map. And obviously the defenders can win at any point as well. If the defenders hold the walls, then they hold the walls. More of these hell cannons being destroyed, which is good. Stopping these guys from actually being operational is really important, because obviously the hell cannon chaos dwarfs are indestructible. But it does like this is going to be all she wrote for this battle. We still have a few Chaos Knights like roaming the battlefield, but they're about to rout straight off the bat. These Marauder Horsemen have had enough, and they're going to be fleeing into the Chaos Wastes. We also have this capture point being reclaimed by just three brave Grail Guardians. We have this center one being claimed as well. The forces of good are prevailing this day. With only a minute left, the Temple Guard, I honestly think the Lizardmen were the key pivotal push in this engagement. The Dwarfs held their own. The Empire, kind of just pushed in slowly but surely. The Brettonians did a great job at making their way forward. But I think the Lizardmen coming around that rear really helped out and helped push this victory. And I think the Dark Elves just didn't have enough elite infantry there to really deal with the Lizardmen. Honestly, I think like the Chaos needed to be there and deal with the Lizardmen. Just because the Chaos have so much more sturdier heavy infantry, and they also have a lot of really good anti-large capabilities. And also, it would have been amazing to have the Hell Cannon up on one of these platforms, as we do just see the last of the forces of Evil run. But poor Dowie though, the Dowie did get smacked about a little bit, but they did their job right. As we do have the 3rd capture point about to go down, but the enemy are going to be routed up. The city has now been taken. It was definitely a Pyrrhic victory, but an amazing victory nonetheless. I really enjoyed that replay, and it wasn't even too laggy as well, which I was really, really happy with. I guess because a lot of people were bringing these more concise elite infantry, it kind of helped with the lag a lot more. So did anyone rack up a ton of kills? Anything over 100 I'll be impressed with. The artillery and the Grail Guardians doing a great job. The Dowie just got ruined in this battle. Really didn't stand a chance. The forces of the Empire and Middelheim, again, no one doing too amazing, but they all did pretty good. Boris Toddbringer 66 kills is kind of nice. And then the Lizardmen, yeah, look how many kills the Lizardmen got. They got a ton. Krotgar 145. Also the Saurus Spears with 104 and 116. Temple Guard with almost 200. These Saurus Warriors as well, 181. Really nice damage there. I mean, even these Bastillodons with the revitalization crystals getting almost 100 kills is pretty impressive. On the Dark Elves, we do have a Blackguard of Naggarond doing okay. Looking at these other forces, Malakith getting 70 kills, kind of good. Oh, baby, and the Executioners. I think this was the unit killing all the Brettonian infantry and the Blackguard. So both of these guys doing great. And the Shades as well. Over here, this Chaos Army, yeah, we do have some Chaos Warriors with great weapons, doing a great job. This Chaos Dragon with a question mark, doing okay. And also, we do have these Chaos Knights as well, doing pretty impressive. And then this final army, yeah, the MVP for that obviously has to be this Hell Cannon and the unit of Chosen Halberds as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, please go ahead and drop a like and a comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time, and fish out.